So in this past hour, West Midlands Police confirming that 3 boys aged 8, 10 and 11 have died after being pulled from that icy lake in Solihull. A 4th boy, aged 6, remains in a critical condition in hospital. Well, emergency services have been called to Babs Mill Park in the Kingshurst area of Solihull in the West Midlands yesterday afternoon. It was reported the children had been playing on the ice before falling through the surface into the lake. Let's get more now, though. West Midlands reporter Jack Carson, who's there. And Jack, clearly, despite heroic efforts by the public, police and firefighters to get the youngsters out, it was just too much for them.
That's exactly right, Mark. When the police were called at 2:36 p.m. yesterday afternoon, the ambulance only took 7 minutes to get here. When it had arrived, a member of the police and members of the public were already in the lake trying to rescue these 4 boys from it. All four were brought out of the lake and given CPR here. They received critical care here on the scene and also in the ambulance on the way. 2 were taken to Birmingham Heartlands Hospital, 2 to Birmingham Children's Hospital. But like you said, in the last hour, West Midlands Police confirming that 3 boys aged 11, 10 and 8, after being rushed to the hospital from being pulled from the water, sadly could not be revived, and the police, ambulance service and all the emergency services sending their thoughts to the families. Like you mentioned, a 4th boy who's aged 6 remains in a critical condition in hospital, and searches of the lake are continuing. The very latest is that in the last kind of 20 minutes or so, we've seen police on a boat out on the lake still searching. Witness reports yesterday suggested there might be another mother, possibly 2 children that were involved in this incident, and the search is ongoing to make sure that those people, if they are there, can be found.
Yeah, clearly, given the conditions, that may have to be a recovery rather than a rescue operation. We can see police behind you. I gather there have been divers actually getting into the water, clearly with specialist suits to prevent any kind of hypothermia. I gather one officer had to be taken away suffering with hypothermia earlier.
Yes, so last night crews continued into the night to continue this, what was initially a search and rescue operation, now branded a recovery operation. The area commander of the West Midlands Fire Service saying that due to the ages of the children involved and the temperatures, that this would no longer be a search and rescue operation when it came to this morning, and that operation continuing. Like you mentioned, the police officer that jumped into the lake yesterday to try and save these boys has been taken to hospital with mild hypothermia. He's expected to make a full recovery, but like you say, divers here, people just making sure, if anything, to make sure that those witness reports of possible further children involved are not involved, and just to make sure and get the facts right, to make sure before this operation is concluded. We are expecting a press conference within the next 25 minutes or so to get some more answers on what's going on here. But for this community, people here have started to come together, started to lay flowers, and it's so devastating that it's a time of Christmas when many of these children that have sadly passed away would have already had presents and their families ready to spend Christmas with them. Of course, it's leading up to the final week before school leaves for Christmas, and so that factor in this makes this whole situation so much more devastating.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely awful, as you say, for the families and the community there. We will have that news conference live here on GB News, but clearly the warning also going out to children and parents not to go anywhere near any bodies of water at the moment, given that even though it may look it's frozen, clearly that ice can be quite thin.
Exactly, it's very cold. It's the negative temperature here today, Mark, and it's very cold, and that there's still a thin layer of ice on the lake that's refrozen overnight. But the police warning, ambulance, fire services, all emergency services, local politicians, the leader of Birmingham City Council has been here to pay his respects here at the scene and speak to the community and be part of the community coming together here, and all reinforcing that same message that in these times of cold weather, under no circumstances should anyone be going near a lake at all, or any kind of body of water that could well cause an accident like we've seen here, unfortunately, yesterday.
Jack, thank you very much for